Tonight, York Region has upheld the new shopping bylaw despite opposition from Labour. The new subway extension to Vaughan opens on Sunday, and Brampton Council are the new owners of a golf club. Chances of flurries, Pearson +3, Newmarket +4. This update is brought to you by Frank Cotolo on 148.ca. Would-be famous quotes, potentially inspiring words at 148.ca/Frank. I'm Philip Pong on 20th anniversary SRN1. Now here's Ray and Mike with North American Harness Update on SRN1.
The starter has called the field to the gate.
And Rod, don't forget Rod.
This field is in motion and approaching the start. And they're off. And it's a battle into the first turn for control. The battle continues by the half and approaching the far turn. Stride for stride past the three-quarter pole and approaching the top of the stretch. And as they hit the top of the stretch, it's Mission Brief, foiled again, Muscle Hill, Captain Treacherous, and Vegas Vacation. Lucky Jim, a rock and roll dance, be a magician. Sebastian K approaches the line. Guccio is coming late, and as they hit the wire, it's too close to call.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, knit another bun. If that bun has sesame, then we'll be having a grill out. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of North American Harness Update. This time with me, as it is most weeks, Ray Cotolo, except last week. Last week it was not with Ray Cotolo. Ray Cotolo was not present. However, I am joined by the two people that were present last week and are again present this week, if you can keep track of that, Mike Pribozie and Rod Allums Jr., and I'm also on video right now, as I keep forgetting to remember. I am currently, we are live on Periscope on Nahu Picks. However, the title of the stream is still from when we did the stable open house. What kind of a noise was that?
Rod has the worst AV skills on earth.
AV? Navy? Rod wasn't in the Navy.
He might have been.
What do you do in the Navy? What did they say? You will mop up the floors in the Navy, and then you'll kill all the... No, you don't do that. No. Imperialism is dead. Just like all the people imperialized. But that's not for this show. That's for North American History Update, which happens later this fall. Tonight. What am I doing? I'm about to explain what we're doing tonight, if that's okay with you, Mr. Allums. I'm going to take that as a yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, tonight on the show, besides the fact that I am back, we also have handicapping like we do a lot of weeks. And this show is a very handicapping-centric show. We're going to have live coverage of the Pick Fours from Woodbine Racetrack and Western Fair for tonight. And then in the second hour of the show, we are going to preview Saturday's Pick Four at the Meadowlands. And alongside that, after the break, leading into the second hour, so after 10 o'clock, we have part one of a three-part roundtable series with me, myself, and I. No, I couldn't book myself and I. I could book Mike Carter and Ryan Macedonio, who are also nominees for USHWA's Breakthrough Award, and we have 3 20-minute clips that we're each playing on all of our shows, starting with North American Harness Update. This is part one of the three-part series. We have about a 20-minute discussion just about ourselves and harness racing and ourselves in harness racing, everything of the sort, and you can catch that again leading into the second hour at 10 o'clock, or if you're listening to the recording, just fast forward an hour and we'll probably be here. But you don't want to fast forward an hour because it's going to be a lot of fun and shenanigans they don't need to yell at you for. You should just be able to enjoy it. So that's coming up. For now, we're going to get rolling into this show, this program, except it's not a program because nothing has been programmed or scheduled except the natural template we have, which starts with London's Pick 4. The Raceway's Pick 4 at Western Fair District is a time-honored tradition because we do it every week. And right now, they are currently on their 6th race. The Pick 4 starts with race number 7. And to keep an eye on Woodbine, too, they're currently... Race 5 just went off, so we're going to be coordinating that as we can. However, London's going to start first, and so we are going to start first with London. This Pick 4, again, starts with race number 7. There's no guarantee on this pool. However, it usually hits, if you round up, it hits the $10,000 mark. If you don't, it's probably like $7 or $8 grand usually is bet into these pools, if I'm not mistaken.
It's actually 5,000 guaranteed.
Oh, 5,000 guaranteed? Okay, don't listen to me. I am a liar. And if I just listen to my handicapping, because I don't lie then. Whatever that means. So, starting with race number 7, I'm going to send it off to you, Mike, because I have your numbers written down, and you are the deepest of all of us. You go 3 deep here.
3 deep, probably because I'm going to use the one, Fair and Just, who drops and gets the rail, gets Travis Henry. And this horse, I think, has a chance in this race, just with the company it's been keeping, and... drawing the inside here, getting the driver change, could be aggressive early. And, some of these horses have question marks. I'm also going to use the 2, Elmo Rock Bottom. Looks obvious. Comes off a blowout 8-length win at Flamborough last time. But prior to that, has a lot of breaks and, some goofy lines at Rito. And I don't know. I just feel like this horse can't be trusted at a very short price. And then I'm going to use the 7, Peeling Out, who dominated an open 8,500 claimer last time, but had the 3-hole. Now, I'm curious to see what happens. That time was a little bit slow that night. Can this horse get the front from the outside? Will this horse affect the 2? It's very curious. 1, 2, 7 to start.
Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, Rod, you single in here. Explain why.
Yeah, I singled 5 here. I just think this horse is better. Last time went to Flamborough, just was, too far back, just out of it, had broken equipment. So when you look at those 2 factors, I just tossed that race. The start before, raced at Western Fair, dusted the field. It wasn't even close. This thing just drew off, and that was a 1:16 race. Start before that was facing way tougher, had no chance, and won 3 starts in a row previous to that. So, I think this horse is not going to be the favorite. It's probably going to be second favorite. And, 6 wins on the year with the 2 horse. She's 2 for 22. So I'm not a big fan of that horse. That last race was good, but, that was first start for Shepherd. You kind of expected the horse to do pretty well. And I just think this group's a touch different than what he faced last week. So I just think the 5 is the top play here. So I'm shortening my ticket and just singling.
I agree with you on the 5. However, I wrote down the wrong number. I put on the 3 instead of the 2. Don't know why I did that. I'm 2-5 in this race. Why'd I write down the 3? Again, not sure. But I'm 2-5 here. Elmo Rock Bottom coming in off a romp. Riddle Me Miss. I agree with everything you said, Rod. That last start is just a total toss from the second tier. Drops back down to a level where she won at 2 starts ago. I'm 3-5. I'm 2-5. I got to correct this. 2-5 for me. Next leg is race number 8. It is another race that follows race number 7. It's a Philly American Condition $15,000 claimer. A field of 7 going postward here. Scratch down to a field of 7. And Mike, again, you are the deepest of us, taking 3.
And outside here, I'm going to go 5, 6, and 8. The 5, Sierra's Rose, has had tough trips recently and has faced better horses. Catherine B, Amazing Control, Emerald Rihanna. Those are much better than these. I feel like, this horse could get an aggressive drive with Stewart back on. This horse has shown speed in the past with him in the bike. So I'm interested in this one, especially since a lot of these inside ones really don't like to go very fast early. this one could end up in a pocket and, maybe trip out. The 6, Raising a Rocket, is very obvious. Has won 2 in a row from Moreau. And since getting Lasix, hard to leave off. The horse has won 10 out of 15 this year. But, has to step up in here against, horses that have been facing a little bit better, and draws outside. Likely favorite, but, can be a little bit vulnerable. And then the 8, Jen's Credit, who gets the second here, gets Carroll again, has been facing the 6, but gets a little bit of a post switch on this one. The 6 finally draws outside. And, this horse has been doing well, getting seconds and thirds, tripping out, really kind of, lacking room. I'm thinking a Blast could come here, maybe a little bit of an early spot, and hopefully can overhaul the 6. So 5, 6, and 8.
Rod, again, you single here. Again, why? Why single 2 races in a row?
Why not?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm single to the 6 here. I think the 6 is much the best. Third start on Lasix. Moreau's got this thing sharp right now since he put her on Lasix. And, 2 starts back, come first over and just went right by him. Is 10 for 15 on the year. Last week had a nice setup, and that was a mile and a 16th race. That was a really fast time for a mile and a 16th. I don't see any reason why this horse can't win right back. Similar field. There's not really a lot in here. And, with the 6 hole, she's going to duck and follow some cover. She might move early, but I think she's got the perfect setup for this race, and that's why I'm singling. And shout out to Rob Harmon, who's listening. He's probably at the Meadowlands right now listening.
And that is your phone announcing the fact that I tagged you in your pick 4 graphic. For me, I'm also on the 6, Raising a Rocket. Why am I speaking like a 50s radio host? I'm on Raising a Rocket too, not because my name is Ray, her name's Ray, and we just hit it off one night. But instead, mostly what Rod said. She's coming off of 2 straight wins at this level. Did so going first over as the favorite last out. Only thing she'll have to overcome is an outside post, but she has the speed to put herself into the spot. And the other horse I used is the 2, Maddie's Credit, who went first over going a mile and a 16th last out. Might improve going a mile this time around and should definitely improve from an inside draw. Have to go back about 4 starts to this level when she was winning as the favorite. And it also is not the favorite, but also doing so going first over. She had 2 starts against the preferred 3, seemed to be a bit over her head, and then last out just didn't have a good trip, and again, could probably benefit from the shorter mile. So the shorter mile, a mile's a mile. You can't have a shorter mile by going shorter. 2-6 for me in the second leg. Third leg of this sequence, race number 9. It's another division of the Alliance Series Trot claiming series. And I'm going to send it off to you, Rod, to start this off because you take all of them. Now, I see a definitive favorite with the 3, Charles Ray, in a 7. We'll scratch down to a field of 6. Do you really think that you're going to get a price out of this race?
Yeah, I do. I am not a fan of Charles Ray.
Okay.
He doesn't have a lot of gate speed, number 1. Number 2, he hasn't been firing, and he's been bet every start since Pat Shepard got him. He's 3 for 39 on the year. There's not horses in this race that like to win. So for me, I'm taking my chance against a 2 to 5 shot basically. I just don't see this horse being worth that type of a play. And in this field, anybody can win because some of these things, you don't have any breakers really, but the 3 does show breaks. The 6 shows a break, the 7 shows a break, but for the most part, these are all pretty solid gated horses. And, for me to try to say, okay, this is the one that's going to win. No, one, it's a trotter. Anything can happen. And I'm just going to take my chances and try to go against him.
Nah, I disagree with the extent that he doesn't show speed because that last start from post 6 he got away 3rd. That to me reads off as speed.
Right, but he's won in this type of race. He's going to have to go to the front if he's going to leave. And this horse is not a front end horse. He's got to follow for, at least a half, because he's not going to be able to take any air, and that's the problem. And I'm not going to play a horse that is like that.
However, you will take him.
So, yeah, I'm still using him because I'm using all, but my preference is to have somebody else win, obviously.
And so to Mike, you're now 2 deep with the scratch of the 4 Victories Peanut. Are you as confident with the 3?
Well, I mean, I'm not in love with them, but the problem is there's the other ones look, worse.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's a bit of a problem for me. I feel like that, this horse Drops has faced a little bit better. I'm not crazy about his come home times. Does get a driver switch here, though, and Shepherd has driven this horse before. He's going to get a setup. I think he's going to be a little bit, tough to beat. And then the 6 Burning Memories, who raced well from the 8-hole last time, made up a ton of ground. This horse has been doing okay at this level, and I feel like this horse has a chance tonight if they can get a setup. So 3-6 here for me.
I'm also 3-6. I add on the 1, whose name is escaping me, but it's Ty's Little Dream. I'm surprised none of you took this one.
Hey, Doyle is listening right now, and he's supposed to be announcing races at London. Sugar.
If Sugar just wants to broadcast this while the race is going, I'll call a race from London right now.
Yeah, rail call for it.
But Ty's Little Dreams dropping in class after a really good start against Knowers of 15,000. Albeit his starts against the 8,500 claimers weren't really that astounding, but 2 starts ago parked the mile, and that might have bravened her up a bit, rather, as a 4-year-old mare. So she drops back in for a claiming tag, draws the rail. If she's forwardly placed and she can show an ounce of what she showed against Knowers of 15,000, she definitely has the potential to win here.
57 lifetime.
I could care less. 2 for 58. She's going to be 2 for 58 tonight if she wins.
She will not.
Mike, I saw a horse that was 0 for 27 win as the favorite at London. I don't think that really matters. Oh, you don't? Okay, fine.
Okay, the 2 has 34 lifetime wins. The 3 has 18 lifetime wins. Some of these other horses, the 7 or the 6 has 7 lifetime wins. So does the 7. You're telling me that this horse has won 1 race is going to beat these horses? No.
I mean, she can, because all the other ones can lose. That's how it goes. I've seen it happen so many times. The final leg of this sequence is race number 10. It's a $7,000 claiming event, scratched down to a field of 8 with the 7 right the check. I was about to say white tie check. That makes no sense. Right the check is out, so again, scratched down to a field of 8. Starting off with you, Mike. You are 2 deep. Just talk about it.
2 deep. The 1 Santana Sass. Perfect trip won last time at this level at 6-1. Draws the rail again. And it's a bit every other, but a lot of these other ones I feel like this horse has an advantage from a pace standpoint, from a post standpoint, and is a very likely winner again. And then let's see who else I have. I'm sorry, the 5. It's lots of fun. Who's 3rd time back for Carroll, and this horse I feel like is always right there. Had 6 wins last year, is in the money 11 out of 20 this year. I want to get a price in this pick 4, so I like the 3rd time off the layoff. If you look back, this horse has some lines that can compete in the race, so 1-5 to finish.
Rod, you're 3 deep. Why not 2 deep?
3 deep because I like the 1.
Okay.
Tough one. This is a every other week type of horse, but, draws the rail again, should be able to get that perfect trip once again here. The 4, he's going to be coming off the pace, and it's his first start back since September. I think the horse is good enough. It's just, is he tight enough? If he's ready, then I think he's got a big shot. If he needs a start, then, I don't think he's going to be around at the wire. The 6, Lulu's Boy, probably going to be the 2nd favorite. Pat Shepard, Rob Shepard. This one is going to leave and probably be on the lead. Tough not to use this horse, but
you think he beat the 1 to the front? Do you think he beats the 1 though? Rod, to the front.
Well, even if he doesn't, he's getting the 2-hole, and there's really not a lot in here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem I had, too. There's not a lot in the race.
So with Lulu's boy, I think, he's going to the front or the 2-hole, either one. So either one's fine with me. I think he's going to be perfectly fine with that setup there and in either spot. So, he's one of those horses is kind of funny. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad, but that's kind of the rest of these horses too. So 1, 4, 6 for me.
When you said kind of funny, I had a chuckle. And I also had a chuckle when you said perfectly fine, because that's an oxymoron. I'm too deep here. Don't call me a moron. However, I do use OxyClean for all my tough stains.
Shameless plug.
Or underwear.
Oh, look at me. I wear underwear. How scandalous. Oh, boy. Just wait until that leaks. My underwear doesn't leak. I'm too deep here. Santana Sass is the obvious one to use as the morning line favorite. He has speed, is going to be put into the race, and if he's put into the race and has speed, that can only mean good things. Unless he loses, then it means awful things. Lulu's boy, I thought about using, but I'm not going to like the price, especially going a mile and a 16th, even though he won off a pocket trip last out. I don't see him having the same kind of stamina, especially with the 1 in the race. The 1 just seems miles better than the 6. Miles Davis better, even if we're going to make this into a jazz term. The only other horse I throw on for a bit of a price is the 9, Major Nature, who could possibly get into the mix if Can't Count Me Out somehow leaves from the inside, because he's shown speed every now and again from an inside post, so that could definitely put this horse into the race. Last out at Flamborough was put to the front and set the pace, which is very uncharacteristic for this guy, which makes me think that he might be live, or at the very least improving, because 2 starts ago here at London was totally out of the mix from an outside post, tried to get put into the race, but couldn't really close, and the exact same thing happened 3 starts ago. Going a mile and a 16th, too, coming from off the pace isn't necessarily that bad of a thing. At the very least, the extra amount of ground actually helps these horses close, so Major Nature could actually be in a decent spot if he could just get off the gate or get into a position. So that's why I'm 1-9. The 9's mainly for a price, but the 1 is probably going to take it, which makes my ticket go as follows. I am 2-5 with 2-6 with 1-3-6 with 1-9. Again, that's 2-5 with 2-6 with 1-3-6 with 1-9. That's $4.80 for 20 cents. I don't know why I thought it was $2.40. Mikey Mike, what's your ticket?
1-2-7 with 5-6-8 with 3-6 with 1-5. I played for $1. It's $36.
Rod.
5 with 6 with all with 1-4-6. It's $18. I played for $1. Play it.
That's great. You guys have money.
You'll be out after the first leg. Don't play it.
Wait, what? Oh yeah, you guys don't have the same numbers. Meanwhile, I can't even afford to put Cheerios on my fingers. That's the kind of destitution.
Woodbine going to the gate race 6, just letting you know, just letting everyone know.
Oh, so that means it's time to roll into Woodbine then, while we wait for the 7th at Western Fair.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad we're all in agreement, because I was going to do it anyway. Woodbine Racetrack, slate pick 4. This is the puberty pick 4, brought to you by Chex Mix. This is the second leg of the Niagara Series. It's one division. There's 12 horses lining up, so that's going to equal loads and loads and loads of fun. At least I think so. I'm the deepest out of all of you guys, which is at the very least strange in this first leg. But this pick 4 usually picks up around $50,000. A lot of money's bet into it. It's a great time. Everyone gets drunk and throws fireworks. It's fantastic. So starting off with you, Mike, in this leg, you are 4 deep, focusing mostly to outside horses. Talk about it.
The outside ones here are the ones that have been racing very well and raced well last week in a couple of the Niagara divisions. The 6 Nasty Rumor has been very good, has locked room 2 in a row. Waugh gets off here to get on the 7, but Cullen is more than capable, and I feel like this horse could be okay post-wise here because some of the other ones draw outside of him. He was closing on the winner last time. And, he's getting good. I feel like you need to use this one, especially the price is going to be good with Waugh getting off. A must use in here. The 7 Cloud Diva, this is where Waugh ends up. She was second last time to Jazzy Image, who isn't in the race this week. Prior to that was third. This is Moreau, Waugh, top connections. Came from Yonkers and Meadowlands. Is a little cheap, but, it's only 2 for 21. But I like, the fact that Waugh stays here and, needs to be used probably from a likely early spot. 6 and 7, I think, are going to line up after the gate. Then the outside two, Teacher's a Vet, likely favorite anyway. This is the other Moreau horse has won 2 in a row since coming up from Philly. My problem is I think the horse is vulnerable. Could have gotten picked off 2 weeks in a row and just held on to win. And as the favorite, the horse is going to be the favorite again. I don't know how aggressive they can be from, the 10 hole here. So we'll see if the tactics change. And then the 11 Mock the Cut, who, I don't know, the horse got extremely rough gated last time when making the front. And then, ended up getting past, got to the stretch, started to come on again. I feel like something happened equipment-wise in that race. That wasn't how this horse is. Prior to that one, straight on was a 3. Needs to be used in here at a price. So 6, 7, 10, 11 to start the late pick 4 here.
Rod!
I'm 4 deep. 4 deep. 3, 5, 7, 11. The 3 is Manhattan again. Last week, this horse was just way too far back. Come close on 100. Last half 55. I thought it was a very good race. This one is pretty much a stump closer. What's that?
That was a good race. You're right about that. This horse actually got stuck inside and had no chance. I should have put this horse on.
Yeah, I just think he's going to be a little bit closer tonight, and he's got a big shot. Yeah. And should be a decent price anyways. The 5 Party Beach I'm using was first over last week. Gets Jade Mack back. Finished third, coming first over last week. Start before that had a 10 hole, just no chance. When you look at this horse, he's kind of a hit or miss type. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. I think he's better when he's out in the flow and not jammed up on the inside. She kind of looks like one of those claustrophobic types. She just doesn't do well on the inside. The 7, Cloud Diva, for obvious reasons. This one just got beat last week, sitting up close. I think this horse is probably going to leave again. Second start for Moreau. I expect nothing less out of this horse than what I saw last week. And then the 11, Mock the Cut. Same reasons Mike said. The horse was a little funky last week, but still raced well down the stretch after I thought she kind of got her heart taken out of her on that last turn, and then she come back and she was fighting. And start before that, Win made the quarter move in a fast half and still hung on to win and won pretty handily. So, she's a good price play, 3, 5, 7, 11.
I agree with the 3, 7, and the 11. I do take those 3. The other 2 I add on this leg are the 1, whose name is Traces of Purple, makes her second start since shipping in from Prince Edward Island in eastern Canada. And it wasn't really a poor start she put in for her first out since late October, closing in 28 and change to finish 5th. Came only a length off the lead, gaining 6 lengths in the stretch. Draws inside, should probably be more forwardly placed because of that, and that's the case. Any kind of late bid could put her closer to the mix, and she'll definitely be a price here. The other one I throw on then is the 4 Alexa Hanover for similar reasons. Was very aggressive first out since last racing in October over at Harris, Philadelphia. Shipped up here, and that was her first start in Canada, at least recently for the Blaze Barn. Was first over at the quarter, then made a move again around the final turn, quitting the stretch to finish 8th by 5 lengths, but was, again, aggressive enough to show that this horse is live coming into this race, and she just needs to be driven a little bit more conservatively to have a much better shot. So I'm 1, 3, 4, 7, 11 in that first leg. Second leg of this sequence, we might have time for race number 8, and ours is 6,000 last 5 trot. Pretty straightforward because we have this big class dropper with the 2 Mr. Herbie, and a lot of our tickets appear to be centered around him, except yours, Mike. You still go 4 deep in this race.
Yeah, just because I don't know, how much we can trust Mr. Herbie, even though flew home 26-4 last time against the top, ones on the ground. The horse should win the race, but I feel like there's a few other in here that you can use. The 5 Caber Toss is a horse that is a bit hidden here, has had terrible posts, and, has facing decent ones. Not the same as Mr. Herbie, but decent ones. The 6 Cloud9 Hanover had no chance trying to close into a race where Fearless Man dominated last time. And then the 8, Maxim Muscle, woke up last time at the bottom, and has speed. This horse has some class, 26 lifetime wins. You can use that one also, 2, 5, 6, 8.
Now, before we send it off to Rod, we have the 7th from Western Fair going to gate right now. A field of 7 lining up. I'm alive to the 2 and the 5. Mike's alive to the 1, 2, 7. Rod is alive to the 5. This field of 7 swings into the stretch. This field is approaching the start. Rough gated to the inside. Fair and Just. The rest are off and pacing with Callie Magoo from the far outside firing out, peeling out 2. Then getting away 3rd comes Wesky into that first turn. 4th comes Elmo Rock Bottom to the inside of Riddle Me Miss, and Elmo Rock Bottom goes off stride. As they move to the backstretch. Hooray for the winner now, 2nd to last. Fair and Just to the inside of the cone, still off stride, but pacing 5th as they move down the backstretch, led by Callie Magoo. Two in front of peeling out, sitting 2nd. 3rd then is Wesky. 4th comes Riddle Me Miss. Then it's Hooray for the winner. Fair and Just back on stride, back on the course, pacing 5th, about 8 lengths off the lead, still a long ways back to the 1-9 favorite Elmo Rock Bottom, who lost stride around the first turn. 29-2 the opening quarter as they circle the far turn first time, move to the top of the stretch. Callie Magoo leads the way over peeling out. 3rd then is Wesky. 4th comes Riddle Me Miss, beginning to edge to the outside, looking for cover as they move to that halfway point. 5th then Hooray for the winner, still 6th. Fair and Just. Elmo Rock Bottom attempting to catch the field off a 1:01 half, chasing Callie Magoo to the clubhouse turn. Out of 3rd, first over, venturing overland comes Wesky. On his back, her back rather, Riddle Me Miss with a bit within 3 lengths of the lead as they move into the back stretch. Then it's back to Hooray for the winner, trotting in 5th. 6th then Fair and Just, still a long ways back to Elmo Rock Bottom to 3/4, still in front Callie Magoo. Wesky is stalled to the outside, 3 wide and being called upon. Riddle Me Miss, while peeling out to the insides, locked in. Hooray for the winner, stalking them 3/4 in 1, 31-3 around the final turn. It's still Callie Magoo being challenged by Wesky to the outside, 3 wide. Riddle Me Miss peeling out, looks for room to the inside as they turn for home. It's still Callie Magoo. Callie Magoo, a length in front of Wesky 2nd, peeling out, ducking to the inside. Hooray for the winner, splits horses late, but on the far outside, here's Wesky trying to get by Callie Magoo. It's Wesky getting by Callie Magoo in the final strides with peeling out 3rd, 2:03-2. Here's the irony of this situation. I never used the 3, but by mistake, if I would have kept her on, that would have worked.
How much the best was a 7? I want to know.
I don't know. It was a pocket trip, so that's really tough to judge.
Okay, and then jumping over them. I don't understand why he didn't pull the horse when he had the chance. I don't know.
Why would you pull that early?
No, but he had a chance around the final turn to get out and didn't.
I did not see.
Well,
any
you
chance
said for 55.
I mean, look, the 3's in the middle of the racetrack.
that was the 6, actually. 6 held on.
No, that's the 3. I'm watching.
They just posted 6-3-7-1.
Yeah, the 6 won the race. I'm saying the 3's in the middle of the racetrack. He had a chance to get out and didn't. He tried to go inside. So, anyway.
What did we miss here with Callie Magoo?
Well, you didn't know that everyone in the 1-9 shot was going to run for starters. The 1 ran coming out away from there, caused the 2 to run. The 7 got a perfect trip and somehow didn't have any room.
Let's see. 2nd time Lasix, 2nd start since October. Showed
5
speed.
Yeah. 5 was, well, no. You couldn't use that one off that last race anyway, but.
I don't know. Not if you toss the race like we did. And it's not like she won a poor mile. She raced well.
Let's go back to Woodbine.
All right. Over to Woodbine then with race 7 coming up in 7 minutes. Rod, we were on you for the second leg talking about Mr. Herbie as a favorite. You're too deep, including Mr. Herbie.
Yeah, I use Mr. Herbie, and for obvious reasons. I mean, he's made almost $2 million. He's a classy horse. This is the level he is kind of at now where he excels. And, he was up facing a lot tougher recently, and he just has no chance against those types anymore. So, with the drop back down to this class, I think he's got a big shot again. He beat these last time he was in with them. And then the 5, I use Cabertoss. This horse hasn't been showing much, but was facing better horses, just like the 2. This is a drop in class. Did get beat by the 3 last time, but wasn't anywhere close, and it was a slow half. Just had no chance in that last race at all. And even the week prior, no chance. The week prior to that, no chance. Was in over his head. So with the drop in class, this horse beat now winners at 13,000 5 starts back. So with the horse like this, I think if he's close enough, he's going to be dangerous, and he should be a decent price as well.
I'm too deep as well with Mr. Herbie. However, I don't use Cabertoss. Did not know about the fact that he won that hours of 13,000. However, at the same time, I'm not necessarily impressed by his races against tougher, so I chose to go another way with the 3 Holiday Party, who's also been up against hours of 6, but putting in a little bit of better efforts, and will also, sorry for hitting the mic, be more forwardly placed. And if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of a good place to be, especially this point in the meet at Woodbine. 4 starts ago against hours of 8,000, almost won wiring the field. He's much more of a stalker, because I remember that race. I remember using him in that race, and Flying ISO won it like 15-1. But should, again, be forwardly placed, be in the right spot. If he's in the right spot, he should have the class to be able to do well against this hours of 6,000 bunch, especially looking at the rest of this field like it's Who You Know and a bunch of these other trotters that aren't really as they're lackluster, if anything. But that's what you get with this kind of field. So I'm 2-3 in the second leg of the sequence. Race number 9, Filly and Mare Preferred, a field of 6 going post-wed. And you and Mike both agree with Witch Dally and LA Delight. Do you really see which? My question is, I did not use Witch Dally in this race. Why would you use Witch Dally if LA Delight is going to be the favorite? Witch Dally is the second favorite.
Why not? They're the only 2 horses that can win the race.
No.
Yeah, they've been 1-2 for like the last 4 weeks in a row.
But I mean, there was one horse that I specifically used because here's my logic. If LA Delight wins, Witch Dally loses. And no, I don't see Witch Dally winning this race at all because I don't think she can wire this field, especially with LA Delight in the mix. And at the same time, to the inside, Ms. Mac and Cheese has also raced well in the preferreds. She's just had 2 rough starts where she's been locked in, and now she's going to be one of the lone speeds put out towards the front. It seems like she could get the trip here.
I don't know. I just feel like she's going the wrong way. She's, lost 2 in a row, and I don't deem that a rough trip. That trip 2 back, she had nothing. And then last time, she didn't have anything again. She was set up, and LA Delight ran right by her. At least Witch Dally is going to be in the mix early. The reason she lost last time was she had to, go a little bit too quick, that middle part of the race. And LA Delight was loaded, got perfect, got out, and just, kind of flew by and ran her down. These are the only 2 horses in the race. There's no point in losing to one or the other depending on who gets the setup.
I don't necessarily see that as regression because she's still coming in 27 and change. It just she's been locked in. She hasn't really been given the opportunity.
LA Delight's won 2 out of 15. She's capable of losing to her. She lost to her 2 back, given the same circumstances.
Well,
my opinion, honestly, I think you're kind of overlooking it a little bit, Ray, just because these 2 mares on the outside have just been a touch better than the rest of them in the last month. And I thought, I used Miss Mac and Cheese last week. She didn't really fire enough for me. She didn't have enough go at the end of the mile for me.
And if you remember last week, I told you not to use her because I didn't like her. I mean, I'm just saying.
she's just kind of tailing off a little bit, and with her tailing off, I think that's kind of the key for me to not use her this week. And between Witch Dolly and LA Delight, I think those two are just better than these right now.
Well, I know last week in the tickets that I gave you guys, I singled LA Delight because I don't like Witch Dolly against LA Delight, especially seeing how sharp LA Delight's getting right now.
It's the driver switch that's made all the difference.
I mean, you could say that. I don't necessarily.
My opinion.
Yeah. But again, I don't want to take the second favorite, especially if I feel like Witch Dolly is going to come up short again. Because if she comes up short again, that either means LA Delight wins or a much better price wins. And Ms. Mac and Cheese probably isn't necessarily not firing, but it just seems like she's, if she gets a pocket trip, this could be a much different race.
If I was using anything else in the race, I would use the 3.
The 3? Wisty's
Yes.
Paradise, moving up in class?
Yes. She's getting very good. Those last 4 races are very good.
Seems like, well, I mean, just by judging, it seems like she's just been in the right place.
Mm-hmm. Well, she won 52 last week at 12-1.
Second over.
So, but I mean, they weren't stopping in front of her. She came and got them.
They came home in 28-3. But all of that said, I'm still 1-6. You both are 5-6. I'm not really sure there's much more explanation behind that race. Final leg is race number 10. It's a conditioned $15,000 claiming event for fillies and mares, scratched down to a field of 9. Starting off with you, Rod. You take the all button here. Do you really have that much confidence in some of these longer shots? Because some of these longer shots seem pretty easy to toss.
I mean, I could only toss 2 horses off of my ticket, and I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'm just going to hit the all button because it cost me another $3 to do that. So, to spend
Who did you
$3
toss? Just out of curiosity, who did you toss in the race?
I was tossing the 8 and the 9.
So what do you like about the 1?
1 scratched.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Toss that one.
I like 1 to make it to the barn first.
Great. Thanks, Rod.
But like the 2 is going to get bet here. Got beat on the front last week, and got stung the first quarter, but really had a slow middle half there. Come home in 30-1 and still got beat. So I'm not a big fan of that one. The 3, Sadwana Bay. Yeah, horse is capable, but has missed 3 weeks. So I'm not keen on that one either. The 4, Southwind Eye, another one that's going to take money. This horse sat a perfect trip last time and won. Start before that, had no chance. Start before that, had a great setup and just didn't get there. So there's a lot of suspect horses in this race. And I just think that anything can happen. Anything can happen in a race like this where, there's not one particular horse that stands out, or there's excuses for me not to use, one particular horse instead of another one. Mm. So I just hit the L button.
As for you, Mike, you're 4 deep. And
using the obvious ones, the 2 Bad in Paradise is third back, just missed last time. Should be better. It's hard to leave the 3 off, even though the horse has missed a couple weeks because 1-2 in a row prior to that against Better. Southwind Eye was on the outside last time. Did get a trip, but did go by. Has 4 wins this year, and then the 10 Windsong Magnifique is claimed. 1-2 in a row prior to the claim. Last time really was sort of empty, but we'll see how the horse does for the new connections. 2, 3, 4, and 10.
As for me, I am 4, 6, and 10. With the 4, Southwind Eye only won here in this division She won here in this division last week. Could very well win again. Dry Creek Image makes her second start at Woodbine after some decent starts at Dayton. And her race first out at Woodbine, it wasn't necessarily terrible. She gained ground in the final quarter and will probably improve second out. And the 10 Winsong Magnifique is making her first start off the claim, has shown speed in the past 2 starts ago, was put into position from the far outside post 6, and from post 10 will probably be able to be put into play again. I am 4-6-10, which makes my ticket goes as follows. For 20 cents, 1-3-4-7-11 with 2-3 with 1-6 with 4-6-10. That's $12 for 20 cents. Mike, what's your ticket with 40 seconds?
3, 6, 7, 10, 11 with 2, 5, 6, 8, 9 with 5, 6 with 2, 3, 4, 10. Yes, I added a few.
Rod?
3, 5, 7, 11 with 2, 5 with 5, 6 with ALL. All.
Okay.
That is $18.80 for 20 cents. And I already punched.
Fantastic.
I
They're
played
lining
also.
up.
And they're going. They're getting ready to go.
Field of 12 lining up here. Current favorite at 2-1, the 7 Cloud Diva. Second choice at 4-1, the 3 Manhattan again. Third choice at 5-1, the 5 Party Beach and the 10 Teachers Vet. Seventh from Woodbine Racetrack, in motion and approaching the start. Often pacing, Cloud Diva from the outside fires out. Alexa Hanover's off stride. Manhattan again being put into play, and from the far outside, Teacher's Vet swoops up to take the lead as they pass the stands first time. Lions Princess Ruby is pacing fourth, wide of Traces of Purple, now taking the 4th spot, getting away 6th. Traffic Jam to the turn in front of Village Jamie 7th. 8th comes Mock the Cut from the 2nd tier. Party Beach is 9th. Beach got its 10th. Then it's Nasty Rumor and catching the field after the early break. Alexa Hanover trails 27-4 the opening quarter. Cloud Diva marching alongside Teacher's Vet to try and make front into the backstretch. Third then to the inside. Manhattan again being held to the inside as Teacher's Vet yields to the favorite Cloud Diva, passing 3/8. 4th comes Traces of Purple. 5th then to the inside, Lions Princess Ruby. 6th locked in Traffic Jam as Mock the Cut ventures uncovered. 7th now into 6th, picks up cover as Traces of Purple moves wide, who flushed out Manhattan again off a 58 second half. A 30-1 breather to the far turn. Cloud Diva now challenged by Manhattan again to the far turn. Teacher's Vet to the inside is 3rd, parked out and stalled. Traces of Purple as Lions Princess Ruby gains ground to the inside. 3 wide then Mock the Cut, followed by Traffic Jam as they come on to 3/4. It's Cloud Diva holding off Manhattan again with Teacher's Vet 3rd in 1:26, top of the stretch. Cloud Diva holding the front, outside Manhattan again, diving to the inside. Teacher's Vet, then 3 wide Lions Princess Ruby into the center of the track comes Traffic Jam. Cloud Diva coming to the line, 2 in front. Manhattan again 2nd. Far outside Traffic Jam. It's Cloud Diva. Cloud Diva going to take it. 2nd then looks like Traffic Jam might have just edged out Manhattan again with Party Beach in 1:55-1. 12-horse field, you get the 7-5 favorite.
Yeah. 3-1 big mile there.
You can't give that horse that easy middle half like that and expect him not to go away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's typical wall right there. Get the front and go hide.
Teacher's Vet was also short, but she was.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't really look that great last week though.
I agree. Those last 2 are suspect for sure.
Looks like 7-2-3 in that race. As we look over to London, where are they at London?
How many minutes we got?
3 minutes, not on the track, though.
All right. We wait for results then from Woodbine. We all advance with the favorite. That's fantastic.
Hey, advancing is half battle.
The other half is making money, and that's probably a bigger half.
Yeah.
So it's probably 3/4. More than half.
That would be half.
3/4 is not half, Rod. I hate to break
That's
it to
what
you.
I just said. I said that wouldn't be half.
I heard would.
You would.
Knock on it. Ooh. Coming up in the second hour of this show, we have, again, the 7-2-3-9. Yep. In the second hour of the show, we have the part 1 of the 3-part panel between myself, Ryan Macedonio and Michael Carter. That will be coming on right after the news with Phil Hong. And then we'll come back with more from London, Woodbine, and for Saturday's Pick 4 at the Meadowlands. 7-5 favorite Cloud Diva takes the first leg of the Pick 4 there, shifting focus to Western Fair with 2 minutes to post. They are not on track yet, I assume, though. Raising a Rocket 6-5, even though we're not alive anymore.
By the way, our Pick 4s, who sponsors our Pick 4s?
That would be the Often Pacing Racing app, which you're reminding me I need to check my stable.
The servers were down.
They're down?
They were.
They are.
What? Zips Flamingo's got a race. She's racing at 1:30 at Northville.
You know exactly when your virtual horses are racing?
I know when my server's up, and I know when Zips Flamingo's racing because she's made me 6 million coins.
That's much better than anything I've ever had. Of course, you got 5 million of those in one race, which is a whole nother story.
I mean, Zips Xavier's earned about 7 million. She's a crap mare. Oh boy.
I don't have 1 million to put up anything in those races anymore.
That's hard. It's hard to.
I got 1.4 left, only because I had 2 horses get claimed off me yesterday.
Well, somebody's been claiming, because I've had a few claimed off of me too. I wasn't too upset that they went.
Mm-hmm.
Me either. Someone claimed a 6-year-old and a 5-year-old off me, so I was like, thanks.
Yeah.
So if you happen,
but I still have hashtag Ray Pride, who, by the way, won again today and has made about 75,000 in the last 5 starts.
Well,
pretty good.
I'm glad you informed me of that, Rod, because I was just about to ask you, out of sheer curiosity, how that horse was doing. I was so worried that you had to put him down.
Yeah, hashtag Ray Pride will live forever.
Have you ever wanted to own your own championship stable, but you have no money? Me neither, but you can still do it if you have a mobile device, which costs money, but you can also emulate it off a computer. With the Often Pacing Racing app. Often Pacing Racing app allows you to enter horses you have to race. You can enter them in claimers, enter them in non-claimers, enter them in stakes races, enter them for Mexican hat dances. You can enter them in anything you could possibly imagine with the Often Pacing Racing app. And for more, we're going to send it off to my pal, Chucky Mizzou. Yeah, it's me, Chucky Mizzou. Ever since I got Often Pacing, my life has been changed for the better. My wife came back to me, my kids respect me, and we all love horses. Thanks, Chuck. And if you want to be like Chuck, except not divorced and have kids, then download the Often Pacing Racing app. We can't guarantee that happens. However, it could possibly happen. We don't know. We're racing hypotheticals here. You can download it on Google Play, on the Apple App Store, on those 2 things. There's no more places you can download it. You have those 2 options. Choose one or the other or both. You can link accounts now.
And use our promo code. What
That's
else?
right.
Who the hell are you? That's my turn on this broadcast. Use promo code NAHU200K. That's NAHU 200K. And you'll get you get 200,000 coins free to start up your stable. That's NAHU 200K if you are a new player. Download Often Pacing today. I wish I had one of those lists of the stuff they have to read off for insurance reasons, where it's many one or fewer win. Pancreas may not grow back.
I'm just going to say this real quick. Paulie the Pipe, since I know you're listening because you just commented on Facebook, we cash more tickets than them boys. Don't worry about that.
I'm more curious that there is a
Is he
man
calling us out? Is someone calling us out?
I am more curious that there is a man.
No, he's not calling us out.
Okay.
He told me to give a shout out to the Balmoral boys.
Oh.
But my Balmoral boys, I'll give a shout out to Paulie because Paulie's a good dude.
You're glazing over a major detail here. There is a person named Paulie the Pipe. Is his family from the mob?
Maybe it's
possibly.
Maybe it. You never thought of that, did you, Ray?
You cut
Maybe
out,
he's a
Mike.
plumber. Maybe he's a plumber.
Do you know who else were plumbers? Mobsters! You know who weren't mobsters? Lobsters. And you know what lobsters weren't? Robsters. They weren't out robbing banks.
Stop with the rhyming.
Yeah. And you know who else weren't robsters? Daniel Radcliffe. Yes. The esteemed actor that played Harry Potter.
Thank God Western Fair is here to save us here very soon. They're headed to the gate. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you, Sugar. Thank you for bailing us out.
I feel like you don't understand how much my timing has improved. It was going to end with Daniel Radcliffe. It couldn't go anywhere else. Okay, so
are they going to the gate yet?
Yes, they're going to be going to the gate soon. After this race at Western Fair, we're going to be going to break, and when we come back from break, it will be part one of our three-part roundtable with myself, Ryan Macedonio, and Michael Carter, and then after that, we will have the late pick four from the Meadowlands and an update on Woodbine, as inevitably the second leg of that pick four will go off during that recorded segment. It is post time at Western Fair at the Raceway District of London, England. I see Big Ben. Boom.
No, it's not
boom,
London, England.
Boom. How could it not be? I hear the clock in my head. Or maybe I'm like Quentin Compson and I hear time as it drags me to my grave. That's a reference from The Sound and the Fury. They're lining up here, 6-5 on Raising a Rocket. Second choice at 5-2, the 5 Sierras Rose and the 8 Jen's Credit. Scratch down to a field of 7-6 in line, 1 in behind as this field approaches the start. Off and pacing, stretching her legs to the front, Doucette sprints and takes the lead as they move to that first turn. Maddie's Credit, parked by What Makes Me Win, now ducking into third as What Makes Me Win takes the pocket. Fourth comes Reasonably Deniably, and then it's followed by Jen's Credit back then to Racing a Rocket and Sierra's Rose. Opening quarter bound in front, Doucette from What Makes Me Win second. Third comes Maddie's Credit. Fourth then is actually no, that's Reasonably Deniably. 30 and 1. Green and Gray are similar. Fifth comes Jen's Credit. I was correct. Sierra's Rose is sixth. Racing a Rocket trails the field, the even money favorite with about 8 lengths to make up as Sierra's Rose moves outside around the turn to the top of the stretch first time. Doucette, a length and a half in front. What Makes Me Win stalks second. Third to the inside. Maddie's Credit outside Reasonably Deniably moves first over in fourth. Then it's back then. No, that is Jen's Credit. No, yes, Jen's Credit.
This could be the worst call in the history of Ray.
101 for the half. They should change the colors as they move to the backstretch. Doucette in front. What Makes Me Win to the inside, drops back outside Jen's Credit. Second over Sierra's Rose, inside locked in Maddie's Credit. Then third over Raising a Rocket, Reasonably Deniably dropped out in the rear, 3/4 bound. Doucette still in front, leads by 4 and 1, 29 and 1 around the final turn. Jen's Credit second, 3 wide Sierra's Rose. What Makes Me Win still to the inside in competition. Maddie's Credit looks for room and deeper on the track. Raising a Rocket turning for home. Doucette is 4 in front of What Makes Me Win. Outside Jen's Credit. Maddie's Credit trying to split horses late to the far outside. Sierra's Rose coming to the line. Doucette holds on by a length and a half. Jen's Credit second. What Makes Me Win third. 159 and 2. I hate gray and green on a composite screen. Hate it. Looked so much.
That whole first 3 ace was horrible.
4 and 8 looked the
I don't have anything to say. I think that's enough video for us tonight.
We're going to break, and when we come back, I already told you what's coming up. Stay tuned for more.
And we want to thank everybody that's watched on Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, and listening on Facebook Live. We're going off on there. You can still turn it back on, 148.ca/1. Tune in there.
And you got to click the Listen Live button, but we assume you could figure that out. It's break time here on North American Harness Update. Stay tuned for more live fun.
Elves, I believe in elves. And me, I believe in myself. Fell down on the train and I started to yell. And there's no one to blame but the elves. Please, will you take my advice? It's harder than hell to run for your life when your blue eyes, they're harder to hide. They started to cry when they see little spirit inside. Have you ever been stuck? No one to help. Did you ever forget to blame yourself? Please, will you take my advice? It's harder than hell to run for your life. Your blue eyes, harder to hide.
Philip Hong of Woodbridge. York Region has upheld a new shopping bylaw despite opposition from Labour. As of January the 1st, stores in the 9 municipalities will be given permission to stay open every day of the year except Christmas Day. People including John Cartwright, president of the Toronto and York Region Labour Council, were outraged at the process, which had no public consultation. The new subway extension to Vaughan opens on Sunday. After years of planning and construction, the Spadina line will open new stations and operate outside Toronto for the first time. The new 8.6-kilometre stretch features a direct link to York University and York Region's first subway stations of its own, Highway 407 and Vaughan Metropolitan Centre. Brampton Council are the new owners of a golf club. Riverstone in Castlemore will be converted to a community centre, with the golf greens being converted into park space. Some people have balked at the process, including Councillor Pat Fortini, who voted against the buyout, questioning the lack of public input in the decision. Chances of flurries in the forecast, Pearson +3, Newmarket +4. I'll have more updates on SRN1. For now, I'm Philip Hong.
Thank you, Phil, and welcome back to more North American Harness Update. As promised and as scheduled, what will now precede this is part one of a three-part roundtable between myself, Ryan Macedonio, and Michael Carter, where we discuss ourselves in harness racing, and basically harness racing as a whole. So here it is, part one of this three-part series here on North American Harness Update, which you are currently listening to on SRN1 or live.
Good evening, afternoon, morning, or night, ladies, gents, and everything in between. Welcome to this special edition of, we don't have a title for this, but I am joined by two people who I don't deserve to be in competition with, but unfortunately am. Two breakthrough nominees for the award.
Wait, hold it, Ray.
What?
Really,
What?
you lead up to it a little bit more. Don't just jump right into it. Listen, kids these days, Mike, they want to jump right into it, right? I agree.
I'm just giving you what we're dealing with. There's a lot more to talk about than yourself, Mr. Macedonio.
That's true. All right. So let's introduce. Go all around. It's your show first. We're on Now Who First, right?
Yes. We are currently live on North American Harness Update. This is a Friday evening. So hello, good evening, folks, gents, and again, everyone in between. This is part one of a three-part series where I will be hosting a roundtable of breakthrough nominees. We're going to talk about the harness racing industry, harness racing, and everything in between, but not the same in between. There's a lot of grays to go around. So first off, I'm joined by a fellow podcaster. That does not discern either of you at all, but
no.
Macedonio was first.
Okay.
He was the first one to at least be in this area of media. You of course host the TrotCast with the patented Star Wars font, which to this date Disney has not come after you for, which I'm surprised. So, Mr. Macedonio, introduce yourself. Howdy ho.
Well, howdy, Ray. This is my first actual appearance on North American Harness Update. Thanks. I had to basically invite myself onto your show. It's pretty much. Is that how it works?
No. If you DM me, you can come on my show. I don't get why everyone thinks it's so exclusive.
Okay, so anybody that's watching, just DM Ray and you'll be on a show. But yes,
there you go.
I am. If you're watching this on, now, first thing we have to get out of the way is I have video. Michael Carter, you have video, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The dunce Ray does not have video. Okay. And right now you will see probably throughout this entire video and podcast, I'm gonna have fun with this because I'm editing it. It's my own show and I can do whatever I want. So yes, Ray, I have the TrotCast logo. It is not. It's just a little bit off the Disney. So yeah, they're not coming after me. And Star Wars is coming out tonight. Is everybody excited about that?
No.
No, not at all.
Just to show you, Mr. Macedonio, I have short video. I have a video going right now. This will be the only video I'm going to send you, though.
Okay, fair enough.
So, Mr. Macedonio, why don't I keep... You are a 12-year-old boy in a 30-year-old body. Why am I calling you Mr. Macedonio?
Yeah. That's true. Let's get Carter out of the way. Introduce him first, and then we'll come back to me.
Yeah, so the other guy, I get him confused with the mic he hosts his show with, because you don't say which mic is which mic, but you both do post time with Mike and Mike. Mike Carter, the other breakthrough nominee. I'm not even mentioning the fact that I'm nominated either, because I don't even understand why I am. But Mike, it's good to be joined. It's been a long time since we've talked.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been on North American Harness Update. Represent the post time with Mike and Mike, presented by Bet America. And listen, I did this show with you for a while, and your comedic. I missed your comedic talents, but Ryan has been on. He's been on. Listen, Ryan, you've been on our show a couple of times, including the first ever USTA debate.
That's true, I was. And it was the most watched USTA presidential debate of all the times on the interweb.
It was also the most watched USTA thing, period.
Well, here's the thing. It was our most listened to episode by far, just beating out the Sam McKee Memorial we did. So that was a pretty big show for us.
Oh, okay. No,
Well,
all right.
we're gonna have trouble here because all of us are gonna want to jump in. So listen, I'm happy that I could bring something to Heart. And listen, the three of us are all nominated for the USHWA Breakthrough Award. So that's the whole reason for this whole pod, right?
Yeah,
Ray is still shocked. Why are you shocked, Ray? You're one of us. Why are you shocked?
Because I've done absolutely nothing. I do a show in my basement that maybe 20 people listen to, and it's revolutionary.
Carter, you want to comment on that?
Is it? I was gonna say, is it 20 people yet, or is it still only 10? No, I'm just kidding.
I like to lower the numbers just for modesty's sake.
Well, listen. I mean, and I think it's kind of cool. I was talking to Bozich. I thought it was kind of cool that all three of us got nominated in the same year. You know, all three podcasts that are currently out there are nominated in the same year. Obviously, leaving out Jay Hochstetler. I'm not. How old is Jay?
I don't know. He's maybe 25, 26, 27.
So Pribozie and Allums are how old?
Allums is he just turned 30. I think Pribozie's in his 40s.
So with the exception of Pribozie and Bozich, we're all technically able to be nominated for this award. And so I thought it was kind of cool that the three people got nominated all in the same year.
And I also wanted to ask, is this both your first nominations?
Yes.
For this award, yeah.
Okay, because this is my second. I was nominated.
Oh.
I was nominated the same year. Horowitz and Zakali tied, and they won. And I haven't been nominated since. I was also nominated by the same division. I'm not sure if I should even say that, but.
But listen, if we tie, we should have a duel with swords and crap like that, you know.
Lightsabers.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Lightsabers.
You see, Carter provides a very legitimate option to finding the clear winner, and Ryan just makes us seem like dorks.
Can we just get Mike Carter? Listen, can we settle it right now? Right now on the show, because I want this show to be watched and I want it to be innovative. Who is the first Mike? Go.
I have to probably say it's probably Bozich if we're going in alphabetical order.
See, that's a lame answer.
That's a lame answer, yeah. Here was your chance to break through. We're all breaking through to go outside of your AARP partner Bozich, who is old. Okay, he is old. He once held me in a room for an hour talking about the good old days of radio and how he used to record things and things like that. So
have you heard the football game where he had to buy the extra phone cord and run it from one building to the other?
What a nerd!
Yeah, I know. He's old. So this is your chance to break free from your old counterpart and fly on your own, little birdie. Or are you and Mike presented by Bet America? Did I get that right?
Yeah, presented by Bet America. Yep.
Okay. Bet America, BetAmerica.com. What's the shameless self promotion here? Real quick, get that out of the way.
BetAmerica.com. Yeah, they're our prime sponsor. They handle us every month and put our show on in the where we do with Jason Beam in the barn.
I was gonna say, going off of breaking through, the fact that I don't know if you've ever once mentioned, Mike, in harness racing media that you did start on North American Harness Update, and you and Bozich started together.
We did. So Ryan, funny story, Ryan. So Ray, I forget what he was doing, and I was co-hosting with Ray, and Ray had to go somewhere. So I invited Bozich on, and weeks later, we created Post Time with Mike and Mike.
Yeah, never once got credit for that union at all.
So that's why Ray is the breakthrough nominee, because he created essentially Post Time with Mike and Mike. No, you know what, Ray? I'm not going to give you all the credit in the world because, okay, I had Michael Bozich on the TrotCast episode 10. Okay,
who could forget that episode? That was one of the best episodes.
Okay, he was on there before you. I interviewed Ray, episode 15. I interviewed Bozich, episode 12. This was 140 episodes ago.
Hey, so where's my interview?
At the Jug. You got your interview at the Jug there, big man. Yeah. Don't forget that. All available at TrotCast.com, by the way. There's my shameless self-promotion. And The Revolution presented by Diamond Creek Farm. Boom. Boom. That's like seamless. That's why I'm the breakthrough nominee.
Well, I like to describe myself as the Lorne Michaels of harness racing, seeing as where everyone on my show has now gone, aka they're more successful than I am.
Oh, that's well, not me. I haven't been on your show. I'm like the Jim Carrey of the harness racing world. Then
everyone just forgets who you are, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you're the Jim Carrey, does that mean you walk into a room and say, "Woo, do not go in there"?
Yeah. I liked it. What was that his best work? Ace Ventura? What?
No,
I don't even. Where is he? What is he doing with his life?
He's being he was most recently, from what I remember, he was getting ready for a role as Terrence McKenna by taking mushrooms in the wilderness. Terrence McKenna's a philosopher.
Oh, is he trying to be Mr. Serious Actor at this point?
I mean, that after Man on the Moon, I feel like he kind of wanted to do that. And he was great in Man on the Moon too. That was a fantastic job he did as Andy Kaufman.
Mike, wouldn't you like to see Ray in about 10 years trying to do, because he's on this radio show now, who he tries to be the comedic guy.
Wait,
tries?
Tries? Hold on, Ryan. Hold on. I have not once ever put a single bit of effort into anything I've done on that show. Carter can confess to that. Barnsdale can confess to that. My co-host now can confess to that. There is no effort on my part.
So you earlier you wanted credit for creating Post Time with Mike and Mike, but you never gave credit to who created Nahu because it wasn't you.
That's right. It was Well, no, because first off, Carter, when I was on your show a couple weeks ago after the Breeders' Crown, I said I got this show from Garnett Barnsdale and Jeremy Day, and I took over. They got the credit that they deserve. Now, Garnsdale is now on your show and at the Daily Racing Forum. Jeremy Day's selling mattresses last I checked. But he's still in the sport. He owns a couple horses.
I bought a mattress from him, actually. He can get you a pretty good deal. You should check it out.
Well, is it a good mattress? That's basically
very good. Yes, very, very good.
Don't sleep on this deal, folks. Look. Look. So let's
listen. Who buys? Wait, real quick. Who buys mattresses nowadays? This is 2018, 2017. I bought mine off of Amazon for $200. It was shipped to me in a box. I don't need to go to a mattress store anymore. What do you expect me to be
shipped in a fallopian tube?
Like what? Like a little box, and then it was compressed and you unbox it and boom, it magically folds out into a bed.
Really thought you were going to say magically delicious, and I was going to be like a little freaked out for a second.
Well, some things on that bed might be, but look, that's not the point. The point right now is that this is a harness racing discussion, but it's slowly turning into what my show usually is, which is we have to remind ourselves we have to talk about harness racing. So this is really the purest essence of North American Harness Update. What I want to ask the two of you, not at the same time though, because I want different answers. Starting with you, Ryan, the one thing that I wasn't really surprised by, but was kind of intrigued by, was you running for the USTA presidency. Because what I thought is that position didn't really matter at all. So to me, it seemed more like you were doing it for a publicity stunt than it was actually to be in a position of power. But I'm curious what your mindset was to even go into taking on that.
Okay, well, two things. Yeah, it was a publicity stunt. And two, listen, shameless self-promotion. It was a publicity stunt for the industry because, Mike, like you said on your show, that USDA debate was the most listened to episode, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Isn't every presidential election a general publicity stunt in itself? I mean, it promotes... When you have a debate, I mean, all the TV networks, the real debate, the real presidential debate, the TV networks all shuffled, and we had 3 or 4, however many there were. So yeah, of course it's a publicity stunt. When I had thought about running, I never once thought that I was going to win because of the simple fact that not enough people knew who I was and would have faith in backing a 30-year-old person who knows if I'm qualified for the job. There's no actual qualifications for the job. Now, saying that, I knew that if I was in it, that I could get people to talk about topics, to force the other candidates to actually discuss topics, and to have other media out there. Post Time with Mike and Mike USTA presidential debate would have never happened, frankly, without me pushing the USTA and Mike to do that, and I would have never done it if I wasn't in there. So I was pushing everybody. I was pushing the limit on everything, and I think that's so. Yeah, it was a publicity stunt, but it was a publicity stunt for the industry. It wasn't. I didn't really gain much out of it. I met a couple people, but the people who like me already like me. People who didn't like me don't like me. But overall, as an industry, we got a lot of coverage.
Well, and I was more interested in what exactly that position entailed, but I also felt like you going into it knew you weren't going to win, and that was probably the best. You handled it the best way you possibly could in your situation. Now, Mike, when you ran for USTA, I'm sorry, you didn't do that.
You didn't do it.
So I guess what I'm going to ask you then is, because North American Harness Update, besides TrotCast, is technically the only podcast out there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Hey guys, hold on one second, okay? My bosses are texting me.
Oh!
Excuse us, bosses. Look at us. We got bosses and sponsors.
You see,
look at me. I'm Mike Carter. I got a boss. Woo.
That's what's great about North American Harness Update is it's run by free spirits.
No, like
free
bosses
and haunted by free spirits
bosses
too.
At my actual work. Sorry, I had to deal with something.
You saying post time with Mike and Mike's not actual work?
No, it is. It's work. It's work.
Earn Bet America.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't admit that what I do is actual work either.
So, anyways, go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
So, North American Harness Update, we frequently had discussions about what I envisioned that show to be, and then when you went off to make Post Time with Mike and Mike, you decided to take a more traditional approach to the radio format, and it's been working very well for you, but I'm curious why exactly you wanted to go down that route. Was it just because that area of the media was absent from the sport?
When Mike and I talked about it, it was kind of one of those things where we weren't quite sure what we wanted to do. We were kind of chit-chatting back and forth about like what we wanted and what we didn't want. And it was more of an avenue of we felt there was enough horse plops and things of that sort out there. So we were just kind of like, you know what, we want something that's going to positively promote racing. And, that's the avenue we went with.
I was expecting more to that answer, but I guess that was mistaken.
Sorry about that.
So then what I'm curious then is, because I've always wondered where I stood in this industry, because I narcissistically and egotistically sometimes say I'm pioneering something big, but I'm mostly just lying to myself. So I'm curious from your guys' perspectives. First off, if either of you, besides Mike, because you were on the show, Ryan, have you ever listened to my show?
Yeah, I listen to in my avenue. I have to deal with branding. I have to deal with distribution. I have to deal with content. So those three things I'm constantly looking at. How do I brand myself? How do I want it to be distributed? And how do I want the format and the content to be on all my shows? I have a bunch of different content and shows and things that I run. So yeah, I'm always constantly listening to, I may not listen to every show, every minute of both shows, but I know the general idea of both of your shows. And yeah, I take notes of, okay, I like that. I don't like that. I listen to other shows and podcasts and Netflix and all these other things that I'm constantly taking notes on how to make things better and how to take away from things I don't like. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of most shows religiously where I listen to every day, but yeah, I listen to pretty much whatever I can when I can.
I would have just taken a sometimes, Ryan.
Sometimes? Well, yeah. Well, that's Mike's answer. He's going to give you the short answers. I'll give you the long-winded political answers. How about that?
You're not running for president right now. I don't see why you'd want to do that.
That's true.
So then, segueing off of that, I'm curious what your guys' opinions are of what I do, because there's times even where I forget how I feel about what I do, because sometimes I come off the show and I go, why do I do this? Like, what's the point of doing this?
Hold on. Let me do one more. Let me say one more thing. So okay. I always constantly get people who are like, oh, how can you support Mike and Mike? How can you talk about Ray? You guys are competition. Listen, we're the only 3 podcast video things doing this out there. So we can't be competition. Now, Ray's show hits a specific demographic. I hit a specific demographic. Post Time with Mike hit a specific demographic. We're 3 different shows. So it's very rare that one person is going to listen to all 3 shows. I don't expect you guys to listen to every single TrotCast or everything I do. I don't expect Mike expects us to listen to all his shows, but I'm aware enough of when I see something or I hear something, yeah, I'll tune in. Ray's show is more handicapping, so I kind of don't veer. I'll skip over stuff when he's talking about handicapping stuff because I don't care about that. But, when he goes off on his tangents and stuff like that, I watch you on Instagram and stuff like that, your commercials and things like that. So I do absorb whatever I can, and I think that it's annoying when people tell me that we shouldn't be promoting each other because we're competition.
Well, I think, and Ray can kind of attest to this, because when we were at Hoosier Park, that was their first, Ray and that team's first remote. And I went over there and I was talking to Ray and those guys about, I had originally had some problems with the internet connection at Hoosier Park and things like that. So I was kind of questioning, what they were using and things of that sort. And the look on, I think it was Pribozie's face, where he was just kind of like, whoa, is he really like over here helping us out? Like, I don't want to see anybody fail at all. So, of course, I'm going to walk over there. I mean, we've been to Hoosier Park. Mike and Mike's been to Hoosier Park 100 times. So we know where the kind of where the downfalls are of the internet. Or don't count. I see you counting, Ray. We know where we know where some of the things are where we've had trouble. And I would never want to see, another group have problems. So it was kind of funny to see the look on Pribozie's face when he was like, whoa, he's over here helping us.
Mm-hmm. And no, he definitely sounded as surprised too, just because the inner workings of the industry are always kind of behind this iron veil. It's not like the iron veil's there for any specific reason. There's no purpose to hide any of the courtesy or the actual camaraderie that comes from being within this sport, unless you're me. And but I just know that with my show, and you Ryan, you described it perfectly. My show is trying to appeal to a wider demographic outside of racing, which is why I try to bring a lot of more personality and antics into it versus actual harness racing. And I feel to be able to still go to these racetracks and be able to talk to people in that, like I was sitting next to Jeff Garral and Nick Surik, and I managed to somehow get both of them to laugh, and they were having a good time. And everyone that came by to our set at Hoosier Park had a really good time there. I know that's what my show, I want my show to be, and I'm glad that we were able to somehow reach that. But at the same time, and you guys probably get this too, where it's people go, why you go down this route? Why are you trying to be this guy? We don't want to listen to this guy.
Well, I think the biggest thing that Mike and I deal with, and I think Ryan is the opposite of this sometimes, and it's nothing bad, Ryan, so don't take any offense to this. So we don't necessarily ask the hard questions consistently 100% of the time. Mm-hmm. So we try to stay more on the clean angle of things, which, listen, that's just how we angle our show. And we catch a lot of flack a lot of times for, not asking like the harder questions of the day. Mm-hmm. But I think we've kind of opened up more, like as we've listened to Ryan and we've listened to you. I mean, I think we've kind of, taught ourselves, hey, we can kind of stretch it out a little bit without crossing any sort of line.
Well, I would say with my show, I think the hardest thing you have to do is actually find a niche of where you are, and you have to find your voice. And I think we've all done enough shows to know what our voice is and what we're good at and what we're not good at.
Unfortunately.
And my show is, listen, me personally, I think it's an extension of your personality. I've always been a kind of a confrontational person. I'm not scared of controversy and things like that. So I'm not, if part of doing my show is an extension of me and asking tough questions and bringing to the light of things that need to be changed. Like I always say, why are we still doing that? Forget about harness racing.
Bear with me 1 second, okay?
He messed up my monologue.
Well, keep going.
Should I keep going?
Yes, keep going.
Oh, okay. So, but my personality is very just, why are we doing this? I'm a scientist. Why are we still doing this? Let's try to change it. I don't care if it's perfect. Nothing is ever perfect, so we can always make it better. So therefore, on my show, it started out as TrotCast, and then I started doing Revolution also. So both of those shows are a little bit different, but I'm not scared to just not be in the norm and do something different and have a little fun with it too. My show isn't all just rip apart stuff, I have a lot of fun, and some people like it and some people don't.
And I feel like that's what it comes down to, especially in the podcasting area, because interviews can only get you so far, but it's all entertainment, and that's what this sport is too, besides gambling. Gambling, of course, is another form of entertainment. That's also why my show is very gambling and handicapping centric, because we understand when you go to the racetrack, you're not going to the racetrack to hang out with your buddies per se, but in the end, you're going to bet $1 or $2 on the races because that's the venue. That's the entertainment that's there. You're there to have fun with that. And I also noticed that too when I was at Hoosier Park, around all the people and the gamblers and the drunks, especially the drunks. We had one specific drunk interrupt us on set and scream many profanities into the microphones as I was calling races from the grandstand. As soon as a horse would make a move, he'd be going, "Oh my God!" Oh, and he spilled his Maker's 40 on my jacket. I smelled like booze for a week, and the cops did not like that.
Well, you're not even old enough to drink yet, right?
No, I'm not sure if I'm even old enough to know what alcohol is.
No, Ray still hasn't even gone to a senior prom yet.
Well, I'm not looking forward to all the broken bones, but when they fall, they cannot get up. So, I was going to segue off of that, because Ryan, you were talking about hard-hitting questions. I forget where I was going to go with that.
Oh, see, listen, this is where we transition host. How about that? We transition to my show. How about that?
All right, fine.
The Revolution.
Okay,
Ray.
Well, this is now.
And with that, that is the conclusion of part 1 of that 3-part series. Catch part 2 on TrotCast.com. That will release Monday the 18th? I think Monday is the 18th. And then part 3, the conclusion of that series, will be on Post Time with Mike and Mike next Thursday, the 21st. But voting for the Dan Patch Awards concludes on the 20th. So unfortunately, we will not be able to get part 3 in before the voting starts. Back live on North American Harness Update as I go to get back into a call with my boys, Pribozie and Allums. You two, I'm not sure if you were listening. As you are you guys muted? I might have you. Oh yeah. I'm not sure if you guys were. Well, first off, welcome back. I'm not sure if you guys were listening to the roundtable, part 1 of that on the air, or if you were just hanging around. But either way, you're back on. How's it going?
Great.
Good.
Amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
So. Where we left off, in terms of live action, the 9th at Woodbine just went off, and looky here, who won? LA Delight, who was second? Ms. Mac and Cheese. Wow.
Wow.
I was.
Congratulations. Go collect your $8 back.
Wow. Don't recognize the fact that I was on the right track. Please don't do that.
No, it was fine. I just didn't think that the one could win the race, and I was right.
Yeah. And Mr. Herbie won the leg before that, so I'm still alive. We're all still alive.
Yes, everyone's still alive for nothing. Congratulations.
Yep. And then at Western Fair, we weren't alive there to begin with. However, they are currently on race 10 with 2 minutes to post. And in the 9th race, it was Coco Joe, 1980. Okay, it's a weird night there at Western Fair. This pick 4 is going to pay a lot.
Yeah, there's 3 tickets alive for the pool there. And the rest are 3 out of 4.
I assume that's to the 1, the 6, and the 8? Or the 1?
I think it's the 1 and 6, and I think it's the 2. 1, 2, and 6.
Oh, the 1, 2, and 6. Okay.
Yes.
And that's going to be coming up in a few moments. However, we can start off with our analysis of the Saturday pick 4 from the Meadowlands, which starts with race number 8. It's a 12-race card. The pick 4, late pick 4, the guaranteed pool of is it 75,000 or 50,000?
I will check for you currently. It is 50,000.
50,000 guaranteed pool, starting with race number 8. I thought this was a tough sequence for me to look through. I'm not. But then again, the last time I looked at it too, which I think was last week, I wasn't necessarily that confident either, because it's usually a pretty tough series of races, starting with this first one where What is it? I don't even have the past performances open. I should open them up right now. This first
Dollars
leg.
of 11,750 last 5. Optional
yes.
claimers 30,000. It's a 1 mile pace.
I would assume it's a 1 mile pace. What else could it possibly be? God forbid they go a mile and 1 yard.
They do that sometime.
Well, it depends when the gate
What
releases
race
them.
are you talking about?
The 8th at
Eight.
the Meadowlands.
Tomorrow.
Okay.
So sending it off to you, Mike, to start off this analysis. Morning line favorite here, the 5. I am Mr. Brightside. Raced very well last time, but finished second to David's Dream, who's not in this race. And then to the inside, J.K. Willpower, second choice on the morning line at 3-1. I don't necessarily know the numbers you use. However, I'm curious to see your approach.
I'm 3 deep. I like 8 Major Legacy Best, who has been coming through conditions quite nicely. Won a G-Notes Consolation 3 back, then stepped up to Knowers of 8,500, was beaten a Dirty Nose, actually coming home in 26-2, beaten by Jackster Lucky 2 that night, who just outfinished. Then ran into Lawrencetown Beach on December 2nd, and did come home in 27-2 that night. So, this horse has been racing extremely well. I did catch him tonight. He did win at 48-1. And I think he's going to be a price again. So in a race that really has no standout, I feel like that he could be, one that could win. Also, I'm going to use the 1, J.K. Willpower, who won Knowers of 8,500, barely 2 back on the front. Came home 27-1, just almost got picked off by Don't Call Me Francis. Then stepped up to face the Jacks Are Lucky 2, Western Joe's, Lawrencetown Beaches of the world, and was a marginal 4th in there, never really threatening. However, I feel like this race is weaker than that one, and this horse has made 660,000, always races well here, draws well, and will be likely favored in here. And then I'm going to use the 4. Stars in Heaven, who won 2 in a row and then was beaten at length last time to Kaylee Shake and Bake, who is a very nice horse that always races well at the Meadowlands. And this horse didn't get out till late, was catching the winner, nearly won the race there. I think that this horse is going well and will be slightly ignored here. Gets Simon Allard. I feel like the price is going to be right, and I feel like if this horse gets out a little earlier, it can beat these. So 1, 4, and 8.
Rod, where do you stand?
I'm going 3 deep. I'm going 1, 4, and 5. Same reasons as Mike. Not a lot to say about this one. Raced well last week. Draws the rail. I expect a similar effort from his last 3. The 4 gets Simon Allard. Is a slight jumping class, but this horse has been sharp recently, coming home in 27-1, 27-3 his last couple. And that race last week, that was on that terrible track, and I thought it was a good mile. Good kicker on that real deep track. So I think you got to respect him a little bit. And then the 5, another one. Raced well last week, just got beat at the wire.
2 weeks ago.
It was two weeks ago. Just got beat at the wire, and even the start before that was in against Tougher, and for this horse to, he kind of just sat there. I thought that race that he was in 2 weeks ago, the horses that were top 4 in there are better. They're both good, or they're all good enough to be 1, 2, 3, 4 in this race. So, I don't like the price on this horse, but I think you have to respect him and use him. So 1, 4, 5.
J.K. Willpower, from what I remember, is a very one-dimensional horse, and he still seems to show that 2 starts ago, went to the lead and barely held on, but still won on the lead nonetheless. And the lead was always his game, whether he was a 3-year-old or a 3-year-old. I don't even remember what he did it to. But nowadays, J.K. Willpower currently in the condition ranks here at the Meadowlands. And that last start isn't necessarily that impressive to me, albeit it was in the snow. It was a snowy night. The wind was blowing in their snow. It was so much snow. There was so much snow that's where that dies. However, I don't use him on my ticket, even though that was an okay race. He's just not going to be appealing at any kind of short price. I take the 4 and the 5, Stars in Heaven, and I am Mr. Brightside. I like Stars in Heaven moving up in class because he's been racing well coming into this level. 1-2 ago, almost won last out against Kaylee's Shake and Bake, and I am Mr. Brightside, as Rod said, got nudged just at the line, coming up in 26 and change as the favorite, and I didn't even think he was going to race that well that night, but I felt he wasn't going to win. Still was second by a nose, so almost did win. The third horse I use, however, for a bit of a price, and Mackenzie's bringing a couple of decent horses in to this sequence. That's General Pat in the 7, dropping in class, shipping in from Harris, Philadelphia, throw out that race from Post 8 last out. Was just totally out of the mix. 2 starts ago, was aggressive against numbers of 20,000 from the rail, parked to the quarter, ducked to the inside, moved first over to 3/4, and then lost the race. Has some decent miles over at Yonkers, though. Could definitely appreciate the bigger track and will probably be ignored for those seemingly lackluster miles against tougher horses. I'm 4-5-7 in that first leg. Second leg of this sequence is race number 9. They're going at Western Fair. We'll bring you back the winner of that after it goes. I dropped my pen. Mike, I see so many numbers. You have a lot of numbers that I can't even count how many they are, so I'm going to leave it up to you to talk about it.
Well, this is a wide open race, so I'm going to use 6 of them here. It's numbers of 8,700, but this is more like a numbers of 5,000 type race, with a mishmash of a bunch of different horses lining up here. So I'm going to start with the 2 More Dragon, who was very impressive last week. Was bet, was loaded the whole way, and flew by in the stretch to win. I think this horse steps up but needs to be used again. Rockin' the Hill drops from numbers of 11.5, and this horse had the 7-hole last time, was roughed up, really had no chance. Prior to that was second and third, coming home sub 28, both races, and that horse also needs to be used. The 4 Ideal Matters just won the G-Nuts finals, won 2 in a row for Burke from Bad Post, gets a step up in here. The 5, Johnny Q, is the horse I actually like in the race, who drops from a numbers of 11.5, and again, has had tough trips. I like the post here. I feel like the price is going to be right. And also the 8 and the 9, David's Dream, who is a bit every other, should be good this week, closes. I like that race 2 back. That race, if this horse can get some flow, can win again. And the 9, Sporty Red Hot, is another dropper. And this is Rick Dane, has been roughed up 2 in a row. And again, any sort of trip from the outside, and this horse can perhaps upset. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9.
1-2 favorite Santana Sass romps at Western Fair. The second leg of the pick 4 at the Meadowlands to Rodney.
I'm 4 deep, 1, 3, 4, 7 for me. The one I'm using coming from Yonkers, 20 claimers. This one's going some decent miles, and that strategy over there, sitting on the rail doesn't really work. I like the fact this horse is coming into this race off of a really good race over there. 54 mile last quarter, 27-3 with Greg Merton. Picks up Brett Miller tomorrow night. I think he's got a big shot, and I think this horse is going to be a pretty big price as well. And the driver change is pretty significant, if you ask me. The 3, Rock on the Hill, I'm using, draws inside again. 2 starts back, was first over, raced really well against similar types. Last week, just had no chance. He was too far back. And that was a race that nobody was really going to make up too much ground in anyways. They went pretty modest fractions. So I think this horse has a shot. He's going to be a lot closer in this race, so I'm going to use him. 4, Ideal Matters. It's Burke. This horse won the G-Notes final. Sharp form right now. Tough not to use this one. And then the 7, Reesemer, however you say that, picks up T-Trick tomorrow. Was first over his last 2 starts, both on small tracks. Faced the preferred at Freehold last time, which is a very underrated race, and went in 54 over there. That's going to translate to roughly a 51 mile over to Meadowlands.
I think this horse is good enough, and the question mark is how much are they going to go up front? Because I don't see a lot of speed in here. There's a little bit, but not anything crazy. So he's going to need some horses to go at it early to pick up the pieces late. So 1, 3, 4, 7.
Not giving these Chinos horses as much credit as you are, although I guess Major Legacy came out of the race and sharply, but he also had the race set up for him when he finished second. Referring to that horse back in the first leg of the sequence. I'm 4 deep here starting.
That was a huge race, though. That was a huge race that night.
Still, again, it was in the right place at the right time. That his most recent race isn't necessarily that appealing, but he's also kind of moving up against much higher classes than Ideal Matters is here. I don't use Ideal Matters here, though, nonetheless. I use more Dragon, though. He's moving up off a win. He raced really well in that win. He was the favorite. Get off my back. Rock on the Hill, the 3. He's another one I use. He's the second one I use because I've only talked about one so far. This guy moves inside, drops in class, 2 starts ago, was first over against this group, and then faded, and now he's here and maybe could improve off of that. There's not much more. I hope he gets ignored because that last race, just toss that. It's like one of those 80s dances like the Macarena. Toss that race. Mix the salad. Fold that chair. Fainting dog. The yoga pose, fainting dog. For any of you that have ever done yoga, it's like this position where you get on the ground and you don't get up. Rissamer, Rod, you mentioned this one. Mike, you did not. But Rod, you mentioned him. I like him. Another one for Bill McKenzie. Like I said earlier, he has a lot of live horses coming in to the Meadowlands. That was a good mile he went over at Freehold. That was a good mile he went over at Harrah's. That was another good mile he went over at Harrah's 3 ago when he won against Similar. He moved wide, and then he kept moving wide, and eventually he moved to the lead, and he won at odds of 3-1 against numbers of 7,500. That preferred handicap compares pretty well to this bunch, at least it should, over at Freehold. And that first over trip definitely took something out of him, but he should appreciate the bigger track. And then the 10 All-Star Partner is the final horse I use. Comes in off a win at Harrah's, Philadelphia. Wired the field in his first start since shipping down from Woodbine. Could possibly have the speed to get into contention. If he's placed towards the front from the outside, then he'll be up towards the front and maybe have enough. I don't know. It's all conjecture. He's coming into the race sharp, though. He might get ignored from an outside post, or he might not. I can't predict everything. 2, 3, 7, 10 for me in the second leg. Third leg of this sequence is race number 10. This will be after 9 races have been conducted at the Meadowlands Racetrack, meaning the 10th would be up next. It's the third leg of this sequence. Starting off with you, Mikey, 4 deep. There's 4 of them. You got to talk about those 4.
Yeah, 4 deep. This numbers of 5,000. The 2's dropping out of numbers of 9,000 after racing at the top level at Monticello. I thought raced well. Comes out of that Kaylee Shake and Bake race where it closed to be third in 27-4. So second start over the track and the drop. Inside post needs to be used. Windsong Jack raced well last time in the same level. Just couldn't hang on. Got stuck. Ran into more Dragon, Mr. Truth. Those are better than these. Neptune was decent last time. That's the 4. This horse was third in the Cheyenne Raider race and sort of, was roughed up in that race and kind of got run over late. I think the post here and maybe will be ignored. And then the 9, Twin Creeks Jesse, same thing, comes out of the More Dragon race. I thought raced well in that race for a 20-1 shot. Is outside here. Probably going to be more like 50 this time. But I used then, I'm going to use now. 2, 3, 4, 9.
Rod!
I'm 3 deep. I'm going 2, 3, 5. The 2 Stratocaster, decent race last time. Nothing too impressive, but first start over the big track in a while. And those are those horses at Monticello. They're not bad horses, actually. That winner's over top class there. I think this one's going to be close, and you got to use this horse. He makes sense in this field. 3 Windsong Jack, second off the layoff, long layoff, should be better. Hoping that they get a fast track, see what this horse does tomorrow. The 5 Major War, Gets Tyler Buter. Last time he raced at the Meadowlands 2 starts back, he got gunned out of there, and they went pretty fast up front, and he just got tired on the end of it. But this is one that, he doesn't win much, but I think with the right setup, if he gets out of there and he gets decent fractions, he can definitely win this race too. So 2, 3, 5 for me.
Look, guys, I understand you all think you have an idea of how numbers work, but I have the numbers for you. It's my phone number. Hit me up, ladies. I'm not going to solicit anything of that sort on a live broadcast for families unless you want to have a family get-together. I'd love to have a picnic with you sometime. Just hit me up, ladies. I'm 3 deep here, starting with the 2 Stratocaster. You guys talked about this one pretty well. At least I know Mike did. Winsong Jack talked about this one well. At least Mike did. So the third horse I throw on for a bit of a price is the 8 Cruising Hill, who's stepping up in class, making his second start for the Don Anderson barn, being claimed for 12.5 2 ago. Last out against Nauers at 3,500. Closed well to finish second as the favorite. But what I like is the fact that he was claimed and then they dropped the tag. They didn't move him back into another claimer. So there's some kind of potential with this horse. And just that last mile is a sign that he's probably going to develop or improve or do a mixture of both in the coming starts and could possibly do very well here given the right setup. 2, 3, 8 for me are the numbers. Final leg is race 11. I thought this one was the toughest because I was handicapping a pick 4 and I almost wanted to take none of them. And when it gets to that point, it's hard to figure out what exactly to do. So I'm going to start off with you, Mike. This is an hours of $8,700 pace. You go 2 deep. I'm assuming you feel this is a pretty simple race.
I don't know about simple. I just like 2 out of the bunch. It's the 4 and the 5. They're likely the 2 favorites. The 4, Cardiac Fashion, has been the bridesmaid a couple times in a row here. But I thought raced extremely well last time. Flew late to be second against Ideal Matters, who's won 2 in a row. Then ran into Moonlight Ransom 2 back, who was a very well-manned horse, and that Nauers at 3,500. This is Nauers of 8,500, so a little bit of a step up for this one. But I like the fact that this horse is sharp right now. It seems to be going the right way. And then the 5, who's very obvious, trading up, who has raced twice since the layoff, coming off a huge qualifier by a 13-length win. Went to Freehold for Nauers 2,500 and won by 9. Then went to Philly, Nauers of 4,500 and won in 51 and 4 there at even money. This horse is very sharp now. Comes to the big track, steps up. If continues to go in this direction, I think will be top again. So 4 and 5 here to finish.
Ron, what do you got?
I'm going 3, 4, 5 to finish. The 3 I throw on. Won 3 of the last 4. The last start was first over and won. This is a horse that has faced similar in terms of not so much class, but speed-wise over at the smaller tracks. Beaten out winners of 5,000 the class right below this. 3 starts back at the Meadowlands. I think he's capable, and he looks like a pretty game horse, 7 wins this year, so I'm going to throw him on. A little bit of a price there. The 4, Cardiac Fashion, Burke and Yannick again. This one, not so much a winner, but, raced really well in that G-Notes final. Jumps up here. I'm not a big fan of this horse, but I think you have to use just because this is a pretty weak field, and it wouldn't surprise me if he won this race. The 5 trading up has won 2 straight off the layoff, and that last start over at Philly was a really good start. 51 and 4 is a mile that's going to win this race tomorrow. So if he comes back to that effort, I think he can win. The only other one I thought about using, but cost purposes I didn't, was a 6. This horse might have a chance, but, it's really going to depend how this race sets up because he's going to either have to leave or he's going to be in a spot where he's going to have to pass horses that can close just as well as he can. So that's why I didn't throw him on.
I almost just singled Trading Up because he was the only horse that really made any sense to me in this race. And I wouldn't argue if, looking at my ticket, you say, screw the other horse you give me. I'm going to single Trading Up. I'm going to trade up for Trading Up. That's what some people might say, and other people might not say that. I recognize that it's an open-ended question. But I also throw on the 3 Sunshine West as coming in off of decent efforts in Pennsylvania. 1-3 ago here at this level at the Meadowlands. As I said here, I'm referring to the Meadowlands. Should be forwardly placed, should be a spot towards the front, and if towards the front, as we've been saying all night, that could be good. It's the new game show that I host on this show. That's going to happen bi-weekly. But Trading Up...
No, it's not.
What do you mean, no? This is my show.
That ain't happening.
Okay, if it's not bi-weekly, then it might be bi-curiously. But Trading Up, for me here...
No question.
Trading Up... What, you guys are so conservative. Free yourselves a bit. Trading Up... There's 3-5. Screw it. I'm done. Here's my ticket. 4-5-7 with 2-3-7-10 with 2-3-8 with 3-5 again. 4-5-7 with 2-3-7-10 with 2-3-8 with 3-5. That's $36.50. Mike, what's your ticket?
First, I gotta say, Rod, by far the best one-liner you've had in the history of the show. That was just so good.
It was so funny that I missed it. Give me your numbers.
Oh my God! 1-4-8 with 2-3-4-5-8-9 with 2-3-4-9 with 4-5 at 72. I will play.
Rod.
1-4-5 with 1-3-4-7 with 2-3-5 with 3-4-5. It's $54. I'm gonna play.
And with that all said and
If
done,
anyone cares, we have 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
My pick 4 that was posted on Who Picks Tonight for the Meadowlands is still alive, going into the last race for some big numbers.
How
3-1 winner.
How long are we until that? Because there's 25 seconds to this last race at Woodbine. We're all alive.
7 minutes.
All right.
Go to Woodbine.
All right, so Woodbine will take us out most likely. This is the final leg of the pick 4. I'm alive to the 4, 6, and 10. Mike's alive to the 2, 3, 4, 10, and Rod's guaranteed to hit it.
Oh,
that's what I meant. Field of 9 lining up and approaching the start. Often pacing, Dry Creek Image showing speed. Southwind Ion to her inside, far outside. Windsong Magnifique is brushing up into contention. 3 wide past the first eighth. A contested front as Dry Creek Image takes the lead. Windsong Magnifique passes by, though, to the first turn and is going to clear with Parked Out. Northern Lauren third. Southwind Ion's back fourth in front of Lovin' the Nightlife fifth, or Lovin' the Life. Sixth comes to the opening quarter. Caroline Cherry, Bad in Paradise seventh. Sodwana Bay is eighth. Fly Santana caps out the field. 28 seconds to the opening quarter down the backstretch. Northern Lauren, the new leader, leads by a length and 3/4 from Windsong Magnifique second. Third, then Dry Creek Image. Half in, half out. Windsong Magnifique 2 tightening in that pocket, pushing to the outside, pulling to the outside. And here comes a circle to the lead for Windsong Magnifique. Heading to that halfway point. On her back, Dry Creek Image, now left uncovered through a 57-4 clip. 29-4 that second quarter. Plugs are pulled in the pocket sitter, Northern Lauren, to the far turn. She's riding pocket, a length and a half off the lead. Second over then is Southwind Ion, fourth. Fifth to the inside, Lovin' the Life. Sixth, third over, Carolina Cherry, followed by Bad in Paradise, third to last. Second to last to the inside, Fly Santana. And Sodwana Bay is already 3 wide and beginning to rush as they come on to 3/4, trying to catch Windsong Magnifique, who leads in 126 by 3 from Dry Creek Image second. 3 wide, Southwind Ion in pursuit. Deeper on the track, Carolina Cherry as they come on through the stretch. Windsong Magnifique shortening in stride. Here comes Carolina Cherry and McNair flying down the center. Carolina Cherry swoops by to take the lead, and it's Carolina Cherry coasting away with it in the final strides to win by about 3.5 in the end from Windsong Magnifique in second. Lovin' the Life third. Looked like Southwind Ion held on to fourth. 155-2. The 7.
Not for me.
I'll take that.
Rod.
I only lost 80 cents.
Oh wow. Well, there's something to brag about, Rod. There you go.
It's a $28 ticket and it paid $18.
No, my ticket was $18.80.
You told me
I
28.
No, I said $18.80.
God, no.
Oh wait, yeah, it was $28.80. My bad.
Junk.
Yeah, don't tell me numbers you
lost
told
10.
me that were different. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't you do it to me.
This source paid as much to win as the pick 4 paid.
Is that just ludicrous? Isn't that disgusting? Isn't that putrid?
Just one of those nights.
Is it nauseating? Isn't it a ride to the cotton candy factory? That actually sounds fun, except I can't eat cotton candy. It makes my skin crawl. I don't like the texture.
Terrible.
I mean, that's all you say. You never say, Ray, that could be a sign of a cardiovascular dystrophy or anything, enlightening. You just go terrible.
There's no such thing.
Right.
There's no such thing as cardiovascular dystrophy?
Correct.
What do you think you are, a doctor?
No.
He knows. He knows things and stuff.
Oh, wow.
I know that if I can get this 8 in this last race, we're going to have dinner on me here in a couple weeks.
Oh, that reminds me. Coming up January 19th, catch us at the Meadows Racetrack and Casino. We'll be doing a live show there for their Night of Champions. Post time at 5:30 again. That's Friday, January 19th. Next week is the week before Christmas, or that's the days before Christmas. It's getting cold down here. We'll have more pick 4 fun. We're gonna have more fun. We'll try. Don't try to be fun. Just have fun. That's some of the best advice I've ever gotten. Second best advice I've ever gotten: do not venture into a sewer without a light bulb.
Third best advice: check out Yahoo Picks for our picks every day.
You would be winning.
Not NahooPicks.com for that stuff, and for show archives. You probably listen to this on NahooPicks.com. With all that said and all that done, my voice is going. It's time to leave the show. I have no more voice. It's gone. There's also robbers that are coming after me. Help! I got for legal sakes. I gotta say that was all a hoax.